Hold the palms. Come into the center, come into this present moment. Feel the energy in your hands. Press them together, bring them to your heart center. Close your eyes, slow down, breathe slowly. Feel the flow of the breath. Think of it as you tuning in to your inner senses, to your inner world. To turn your attention inward. Just notice what you notice, sitting quietly. Just feeling the breath flow in, taking in that information, and feeling the breath flow out. How are you informing your system? In your inner vision, see that most beautiful sunrise. Feel every cell of your being uplifted with this rising sun. Bring that light into your physical being, your mental being, your emotional being. As you inhale, draw that energy into the heart center. Suspend the breath at the heart, allow it to expand in all directions through your whole being. And as you exhale, send the light through the crown like a fountain and clear out your space. Inhaling the light of the sun directly into the heart. Hold the breath, allow it to expand, and exhale through the crown fountain. Inhaling one more time, the light of the sun directly into the heart center. See it and feel it, stay with it, allow it to expand like a mini sun within you, getting bigger and brighter through your whole being. And as you exhale, send the light through the crown like a fountain all around you. Sitting in this beautiful space, see your whole being filled with light, see your surroundings filled with light. Open your focus all around you, behind you, below you, to your sides, above you, in front of you. Tune into the infinite mind. What is this infinite mind revealing to you now? Inhaling and hold the breath. Hold the breath, rub your palms, rub. Get the heat, get the light, cup the palms over your eyes or in front of your eyes and exhale. Hold the breath out, no air, peace, stillness. Inhale, hold. Hold the breath, nourish yourself from your palms to your eyes, to your whole being. Everything I need is within me. And as you exhale, float the palms down, flutter your eyes open into your space. Good. Welcome. Thanks for joining me on this quiet and lovely Sunday evening. And I had a few inspirations of what we're going to tune into or remember this evening. But also sometimes I just go off on different whatever's coming through in the moment. So even if you can once again sit with inside of you, what are your questions? You know, what are you contemplating, or what are you maybe uncertain about, or you know, you need clarity on? That's my favorite is, you know, most people who know me or who have had some kind of interaction or contact with me or are friends with me, that when they are in the dark or when they need some kind of clarity, or when they are like really in a pickle, like really in some kind of like mess, or like internal mess even, the person that they write is me. Because, and why? Well, because I don't react, first of all. is, if someone is coming to you with an issue, the first thing is you have to have a practice of non-judgment. You have to have a practice of, like we've talked about, calm and observation. And when you know that you are the operant power, and you know that nothing can come into your awareness unless you've called it there somehow, then you don't react in the same way or overreact, when you're presented with anything. Doesn't matter what it is, what you're presented with, because you know that, like I said, first of all, somehow it's included in your awareness. So there's a reason for you to be in the presence of this or hearing this. And then also, depending on where you're at in your state of being or your level of consciousness, you also know, well, I can do something about this. If it comes across my awareness and it is unlovely, or it is misordered or disordered or chaotic or whatever that is, I'm going to bring it into order. I'm going to uplift it and put it in the highest possible way. That's also why when you start to focus on the good, that everything is good and everything is for my good and everything is working out even better than I imagined, then, you hold others, like the others that come across your awareness or come across your path, also in the highest. We have this indoctrination, this learning that, again, someone's got to win and someone's got to lose. Someone's going to be the winner and someone's got to be the loser. And on some level, that's what it looks like. On some level, that is true. On the matter to matter physical level, that is true. What I would say is, I would never actively participate in someone's losing. Like, I'm saying it in this way because you could say it in another way. Be mindful of participating in others' downfalls. You don't want to be involved with that. You don't want to be involved in the downfall of anyone else. Or, it will come across your awareness sometimes, there's people that we could say are bad, like bad people or evil people. And I'm not saying that that does not exist. I'm saying it is not in your best interest to participate in what should happen to those people. That's none of your business. If you know this to be a feedback loop, then whoever is feeding in that kind of stuff is going to get back that kind of stuff. That's the life that they're in, that state of being. You don't need to enter into that state of being. You don't need to speculate or, I'm saying it because I've heard people, and lately there's a lot of stuff going on. And I've heard people saying oh, well, they should just, I don't even want to say what people say about other people, but yeah, there's a special place in hell or whatever for those kind of people. Well, the special place in hell is their existence, their life. That is not a light-filled life. So, but what I'm saying is, in your best interest, what serves you best, when you want the best outcomes in your life, don't spend a lot of time contemplating someone's downfall or loss. You may say, well, I don't contemplate anybody's downfall, or I don't really. But again, what do I always say? You got to be really in integrity with yourself. You have to be in integrity with yourself. And it's okay. Like everything, it's all right. Nothing is guilt-inducing or shame or wrong or whatever that is. I'm here sharing how to shine it all up. Like, if you want to have the best experience, if you want to keep yourself the most radiant, the most just super clean, super, super aligned, super ease-filled, calm, all of that stuff. I'm seeing some areas where, like I've said before, I've said it a few times, the amount of time that you could spend, or the amount of energy or sentences or awareness that you could spend on saying something about someone else's condemnation, or like condemning someone or something, or saying all the justifications or reasons why they're wrong, is the same, or probably it's even less amount of energy or intention, because it's more truthful, it's more aligned. It's the same amount of time you could use to say what is wanted, to focus on what you want, to focus on what you're doing, to focus on yourself. Think about yourself. So if your mind wants to go to those places like, oh, they should this or that, or whatever that is, like, look, this isn't necessarily for the masses. This isn't what everybody needs to do or doesn't need to do, or you don't need to do any of this either. I'm here speaking from, if you want this, if you say that you want this kind of a life, this kind of an experience, this kind of an existence, we're here fine tuning and fine tuning and fine tuning to be able to have that experience. And that stuff isn't included in that. And what I'm saying is because when I hear it, like I've said before, it makes me like, oh, like just, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to include that in your state of being, in your consciousness, in your experience at this time. You really just don't. I mean, try it out, but I'm saying like, just don't even, it's not worth it. So if you're in integrity with yourself and you hear yourself, whatever that is, because it is an automatic program, it is something that we've been, conditioned to. We like to speculate a lot. We like to give our opinions and our, our justifications and our breakdowns. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't, like me, I wouldn't do that, or I don't do that. I do it in such a way that is aligned. I do it in such a way that is going on an upward trajectory towards what I want, not condemning something or putting something down to go down that road. If I notice something that is not right for me, in my experience, there's a way that I can express it that is still going in the direction that I want to go. I don't need to go down that road. That's one thing that I've been noticing and wanted to clarify a little more, because it's so natural for people to do it. And even some of the things that people say are quite harsh, like quite negative and quite, and we don't think anything of it. Like saying the downfall or condemning someone. Yeah, and just thinking that that's okay because what they did was bad, or that they're not a good person, or they're whatever. And I'm saying that's none of your business. Like, it doesn't matter. Just get yourself out of it. Like, just don't even use your consciousness for that. Just stick on yourself and focus on yourself. And that's what I was going to say, is we're so automatic and programmed. It's like being in integrity with yourself. Just check yourself, like I've said before, about your righteousness. Like, well, I'm better than that. Like, you're not going to say that out loud. That's not what we say out loud. That's what we're thinking inside, like that those people are like that, or, of course. And like, a lot of the times that I'm observing different groups of people saying different things about one or the other, they're both doing the exact same thing, just on a different, it's the exact same state of being, of condemnation, just in a different, turning this way or turning this way. It's the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. Just go above. Don't do any of that. You don't need to do any of that. Just uplift it, bless it, and focus on yourself. Focus on what you're doing for yourself. Now, I've also had some people asking me again, because this is a common thing when you have decided to change, when you've decided to become more aware, when you've decided to, maybe you want to have a different experience in your life, like manifest something, like bring something good into your life, or, a partner, or money, or whatever, health, change something, then you start to dedicate yourself to that. But what you notice is, or what most people notice is, the things that are, I don't want to say preventing you, but what it seems like could be preventing you from having that, or what some people would call negative thoughts or intrusive thoughts, like negative intrusive thoughts or worrisome thoughts or whatever that is. So like you're going along, you're really good, you feel really happy, you feel really grateful, you feel really like, oh yeah, I get it, like I'm doing really good. And then all of a sudden, or maybe all of a sudden, or maybe like over the day, or maybe you don't even realize. Maybe you're already like rolling with it and you didn't realize that all of a sudden it popped in there and you're already going with it. Or you get like an anxious feeling or some thoughts that are like, what am I doing? Like this isn't working or this isn't going to work or whatever it is. So people ask me about that. Like, what do you do with that? And I think I've been over it before, but let's go over it again. So if you're having they're not weird, they are old self thoughts or old habitual habit thoughts that are coming in when you're, think you're joyful and good and on this route today. First of all, that's good. It's not a bad, like, I want you to decide that everything is good. I want you to decide that everything that is happening is for your greatest good, is you to you. That's you to you waking yourself up. That's you to you bringing something to your attention. So if it's being brought to your attention, that means that you have an opportunity to look at it. You have an opportunity to really look at it now, though, with awareness, not just like it's coming in and then now you're reacting or you're, getting mad or getting frustrated or feeling bad. Like that's the normal self reaction. That's the normal reaction. Like, why this now? Or the normal reaction is to feel it and then think it's the truth because it's coming up. So it's the truth. And then you go with it and then you project it and splatter it all over again. Same pattern again. But what I'm suggesting is that now with this new awareness, if these things start coming up, that you can get them, like, come over here, let me see what this is, and look at it with your new awareness. Does this serve me? Does this fit in with who I say I am, my state of being that I'm embodying or was attempting to embody when these things start coming? And if you're practicing this non-reaction and non-judgment and love, then you can look at it and say, yeah, like, thanks for trying to keep me safe. Thanks for reminding me that that is not a pattern I would like to continue, or this is no longer thoughts that serve me. These thoughts don't go with this state of being. So I'm going to release it. I'm going to let it go, or not right now, like, whatever it is, whatever way that you do it. I have many different ways. And I think I have said, one of my favorite ways is thank you for trying to keep me safe. Because when you are going with, you've been in a practiced, unaware, habitual way of being, and you don't even know what that state of being is. You don't even know what habitual way of being have you been being? What is your personality? It's just you. You don't think of it as a state of being or a collection of the concept of yourself, your concept of the world, the others, whatever your assumptions, your beliefs. You're not thinking that. You're just thinking that this is who you are. And that, again, is very fixed. It's very fixed. We don't understand, or we're not taught, and we don't practice switching it up. Like thinking, I could improve on this. We think of improving on ourselves, and we think of improving on ourselves in a matter to matter way. Like, I can improve on myself by getting a better job or a better title. Or I can improve on myself by losing weight, or I can improve on myself by, getting into better shape, or I could improve on myself by coloring my hair, or whatever. It's all matter to matter, how we think we could improve on ourselves. But how we could truly improve on ourselves is looking at the habitual ways of thinking and our negative self-talk and, all of these things that are keeping us limited. We can look at those things and think, this is how I can make myself improve on myself, is through shifting those habits. So we've been unconscious, we've been in a certain way of being, and then we decide we're going to change. We're going to choose, to embody a different state of being. I'm going to be in the state of being of calm confidence, or I'm going to be in the state of being of a master of my reality. And then you're trying that on. But again, if you haven't really embodied it, or like we're working it out here. You've got a lot of other stuff going on that is still the outpicturing of the old self. The relationships, however you are interacting in these relationships, when you are in a certain state of being, whatever your job is like in your certain state, you created all of these things from the state of being wherever you were when you created those things. Now you want to change. These things are still rolling out on the old habitual pattern. So that is your discipline and work, is when you notice this little this little weird thoughts or these things going on, and you notice that this thing, whatever it is, this relationship or this job or this whatever, any outside effect is not hopping right on board with your new state of being. And then you think, oh, well, that, it's not work, doesn't work, or that's just the way I am. That's just the way it is. I just got to accept it. That's the part. This is the part where it is on you to decide that you're going to use your discipline and you're going to check it out, because it is very true. You could just say, that is the way it is. That's the way I am. And you could get that for the rest of the time, for however long you want, or even could maybe even progressively get worse, because we start getting ourselves into a negative loop and feeling hopeless and feeling like whatever that is. How does that sound? Doesn't sound good. Doesn't feel good either. So it at least feels like you're doing something. It at least feels like, okay, I have some opportunity here to try something different, but it's going to take, I've been telling you, it's going to take discipline, and it's going to take a little bit of work. And that does not involve anyone else or telling anyone else or getting anyone else's help or whatever that is. Yes, there's reminders. I'm here with the reminders. There's so many resources, so many free resources, books and videos, and you have to combine it all. You have to think about, this old stuff. I say old, but like this habit that has been going and that I'm noticing. How do I crowd it out? How do I crowd out this habit? Well, first of all, you don't resist it. Like what I'm saying when someone says like, I'm doing this, I'm fine, and then this is saying this. I'm like, okay, don't resist that or get mad or frustrated or whatever. That's like typical. That's the first thing we do. Like, I must be doing this wrong, or now I'm frustrated or whatever. Why is this still, I'm being good, and why is this still happening? Well, just say like, okay, great. I must be doing something right, because now at least I'm seeing it. It's not just happening to me. I'm not just allowing it to happen and go along with it and be drawn along this automatic habitual path. I'm at least seeing it. That's something. Now, if I can see it, I can call it a little bit more in my way. I'm like, come here. Like, let's see what are you saying to me? Like, what is this thought? What is this story? Do I like it? Does it make sense for me right now? And if the answer is yes, okay, why? Does this feel good? Does this go with my state of being? You have to, again, what do I always say? Get very curious and ask a lot of questions. You have to start asking a lot of questions. So you call this thing into the light. You say, does this make sense? It may make sense. You can say, yeah, it makes sense because this is how I've been. This was my unconscious. This was my habit. This is the evidence I've gathered through my life. So then I made it true. These are my assumptions. These are my beliefs. Yes, that goes in alignment with that. That is aligned with those things. Now I'm deciding to do something different. Like, I'm going to either, I say to myself a few things like, thank you for trying to keep me safe, because when we go out of sight of that practice way of being, sometimes that can feel unsafe to our practiced way of being. It feels like, uncertain. And we like certainty. We like to be able to predict what's going to happen. Even though we want something different, we get a little leery when things start to go out seemingly outside of our control. And so we have to say, like, acknowledge it, like, thanks for trying to keep me safe, but I've got this. I'm gonna go with the unknown. I'm gonna see how this goes because this feels better. It feels better for me to be in this unlimited state, this expansive state. It feels good for me to be embodying this new state of being, whatever that may be. Now, I've said this before, we have also been built in with this limitation to try to mitigate disappointment or mitigate damage, whatever that is. So, like, if you're going to go for it, go for it. I'm radiant health. And then, but there's a possibility that this might not come back like this, or I've been diagnosed with this, or whatever that is. We're trying to not go too far so that we don't feel disappointed or feel like, we lost, or we didn't do it good, or, it didn't work. And what I'm saying is you've never practiced. You've never persisted. We always just give up. Like, you go there, it shows us that. And what do? Oh, well, I guess that's it. And I'm saying, if you're bold enough, you don't accept that. You don't accept anything until it is what you've decided that you want. And some people, can't do that. That's the truth. Some people, it feels too much of a stretch. That's why we practice with, incremental things, I would say, or being aware and helping yourself when you start to feel like, all of these stories popping up. Then you have to learn to soothe yourself. You have to learn to talk yourself into where you're going instead of out of where you're going, which is what we mostly do and what we've practiced, what we have other characters set up all around us to talk us out of where we're going also. Like, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? Well, that's not going to work because this, or you need this for that. Like, we set up all those characters around us. Sometimes we're the character of that to other people. Don't do that. Don't rain on anybody's parade. But what I'm saying is, you see how we like set up this thing to try and keep us in a certain way so that we don't fall, we don't get disappointed. But what I'm saying is, we're disappointed anyways. I've said this before. Like, this attempt to control everything because somewhere in us thinks that that's the safest place to be, controlling every outcome, or what they're going to say that, or then I'm going to do this, or whatever that is. We think it's the safest place to be. It's not safe at all. It's not safe at all, because you have to be impeccable. You have to be perfect, and we're not. There's so many unknown factors. There's so many unseen things that we think we're controlling every outcome, but you can't. So the best place to be is decide your state of being, embody that state of being, and practice eliminating the things that don't go along with that state of being when they come up, instead of thinking that, I must be wrong, or, whatever it is. Let that anxiety, let those feelings start to get in you. Instead, you look at them, you call it out, you say, is this true? Is this true? How do I know it's true? Is there a possibility for something different? You just start getting curious. You allow yourself to start, working on it for yourself. I'm giving you some examples, but the thing is, like I've said so many times, you have to actually do it. You have to actually apply it. You have to test it out for yourself. And then you will start to get your own way of doing it. You'll start to find your own way out of the limitation. You find your own way out of the false stories, or the old. They're maybe not false, they may be true in that certain state of being, but from this new state of being, that is no longer true. You are this, and this is what's showing up. So it's not exactly true anymore, and you have to recognize that. You have to say that this is not what is wanted, and I'm going to focus on what is wanted. So people can get turned around by these intrusive thoughts, or these negative thoughts, whatever you want to call it, especially when you feel like you're doing really good. This is what people say to me: I was doing really good, like so good, and then this happened. I'm like, good, bless that. That is showing you, because you can't be going along all good, and then something comes along and your whole thing drops, your whole mood drops, your whole state of being drops. You're faulty. Your container is not that strong then. And that's okay. You want to know that. You want to know that if this one word from this person, or one weird way of being, or one weird look, or perceived, this is all perceived, one whatever tone can get my whole mood down, or one something outside of what I was thinking was going to happen can shift this whole thing. This whole thing was not that strong to begin with. And you know it. And it's okay. Like, this is what I'm saying. I've been there. I'm talking from experience. If one thing can get me out of my state, I'm not really committed. I'm not really embodying. I have a lot of stuff still to clean up, let go of, acknowledge, be in integrity with myself. Yes, that bothers me. Why? Why? Why does it bother me? And what is always the answer of that when we're asking why? Because I don't think I'm the operant power. Because I think something out there has some kind of control over me. And it seems, I want to say easier, but that's just our practice way of being, to be the victim. And we're not even acknowledging that it's a victim way of being. They changed this, so now that put me in a bad state. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Like, I understand it can. But at the same time, as soon as you acknowledge that, you have the opportunity to double down on your state, to double down on what is wanted, to say, okay, I see this. Let me try something different this time. Let me see if I can try something different. What is wanted? What did I decide? How come I decided that and I was in that state, then this one thing happened, then I got down? Why? What is that? That's the part that I want to know for myself. I'm like, well, how could that do that to me? What is tied up in here? And it's that we feel like something is outside of our capacity to change, or whatever it is. And I'm saying nothing is outside of your capacity to change. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, even death. People would say that, like, well, what about if someone died? Yeah, okay, doesn't mean you can't have a relation with them still. Have you tried? I mean, you don't have to, you do whatever you want, but I'm just saying that even death is not final. There's nothing final here, because everything is energy, and energy can never die. Energy is eternal, is infinite, is always accessible. So you always have the opportunity. It's just on you what you are. You don't have to do that. You don't have to, like, connect with dead people or whatever, what you think would be dead people. I'm just saying that, anything that anyone could say to me, that's, well, what about this? No. It may not look the same way that you think it should look. It may not look that way, but even that, I don't know what's possible. I think anything is possible. That's the state of being that I like to be in. Regardless of the state of being I choose, like, say I choose radiant health, and anything is possible. Anything is possible in that radiant health. Or you're choosing master of your reality, anything is possible in that master of reality. The woman who has it all, anything is possible, is built in those states of being. That's what I do. So I don't think there's anything that is not doable. It's just if we're willing to do the work around making sure we're in integrity with feeling those things. So these intrusive thoughts, or these negative thoughts, these things that get us out of our center, is just like, okay, I got to practice. And I'm grateful to see that, because I need to know what could poke my button, or burst my little container. I need to know those things so that I can, it's for me, like, I'm strengthening myself, and I'm not, and I'm looking at the leaks, like where I'm still giving my power away and why. So you shouldn't look at those negative thoughts as a negative thing. It's not. It's good information and good awareness. Then another thing is, I had a friend saying to me that, and this was good, I thought that we could clarify this a little bit too, because he was saying he finally thinks that he's getting it, or got it, about embodying the state of being, or feeling like you have the thing now, because you do. So he said, and it went along with this trying to control all the, like, everything that's going on, or all the outcomes, or, the plan, like, what's your plan? What's going to happen? What are you going to do? Because he was saying, that even though he could maybe picture the relationship, or picture the health, or whatever it was, that when he was done the picturing, or outside of his meditation, he still realized that he was still putting it somewhere in the future, like somewhere outside of him, somewhere that is not now. And he was realizing, like, this is a can be a challenging thing for people to understand. And once again, it's just because our understanding of how this is operating and what this is, it just needs a little more awareness, just needs a little more experience, needs a little more practice, needs a little more doing, applying. And you will know, you will have the experiences to prove to yourself, like I've said, that this is the after effect. That once you've experienced it in your consciousness, in your awareness, in your imagination, it is a done deal. Like, that is it. That is where you go to experience it. And so when you come here and you open your eyes on the screen of space, the after effect, the shadow world, like I said before, this is the shadow. This is the crystallization of all that into form. Remember that. Like, that is, once you know that, like, why would you be reacting on the shadow? Why would you just be disappointed it's not showing up here? Like, it's not gonna. It has to. But you're going willy-nilly and back and forth, and getting crossways of your own self all the time, and then trying to make up some plan. Like, that's just like, I went there, I experienced it, now I'm going to see what unfolds. And that is challenging. I know that's challenging for people indoctrinated into this system of matter to matter, doing, and I got to come up with something. And I know, and people will say, well, I have things, obligations and things. Okay. Yes, there is a way to do your obligations and figure out your plans and all of that stuff because that was, again, created from a certain state of being and a certain level of consciousness. Now, if you're going to a different state of being and a different level of consciousness, you're expanding your level of consciousness, you're becoming more and more aware. From that awareness, the first place that you go is practice it inside, practice it in your imagination, run through what it is that's wanted. And yes, take care of whatever it is you have to still take care of that is out picturing or rolling itself out. But what you will find is something starts to shift. It becomes more harmonious, it becomes easier, becomes less of a slog, like a task all the time. And actually, it starts to harmonize with what you're doing, but you have to be willing to do it as you're still doing this other stuff out here. The stuff that's already exists, that's already here playing itself out, that you're a part of, that you created. So, you're just, but lightly, like, you just do that without, emotional outbursts and emotional commotion, just do it. But you have to be more dedicated to the internal state. So he was saying that, he finally could feel it. He finally felt it, that when he came back, or, came back to experience this 3D world, or this material world, that he still could keep that feeling, or that state of being, of having already experienced whatever that was, that relationship or whatever, and doesn't have to come back to this material world and try to make up a matter to matter thing to do to get that. He already has it. You already have it. So you're not trying to make up something so you can get it. Do you understand? You already have it. So then you're there, it's the practice. You come with the feeling of already having it, and you're in your day-to-day experience, very curious, very open, very aware to see where you're led, to see what feels good. If you can get into the feeling of feeling good with whatever it is you're practicing, whatever it is in your imagination, your awareness, if you can get into the feeling of feeling good, Just like how we do our breath, how we do our rhythm, our order, our harmony, you feel good. And why do we practice that feeling good? Why do I say? Because so that when you come into your life or whatever it is, you notice the discrepancy when you're not that. That's part of it. It's so that you can attune yourself like an instrument of consciousness, your instrument of consciousness, and you're in harmony. Then you come here and it's not harmonious. You're like, that's not it. That's not it. That's not for me. I'm going to rewind, get back into order, and see where I feel most aligned, most orderly, most calm, most harmonious, most love, most support, wherever that is. So if you have that feeling and then something is not that, it's very apparent, but you don't like start condemning and judging and doing all that. Like I said, you go back within and you say, what is it? How does it feel? How does it feel again? How does it feel again? Well, you're right, like that. Okay, right. All right, let's see what happens. Then you go and you just keep doing that. But you have to be super aware. This is what I'm saying. You have to be super aware and like I was saying to someone else, crowd out the other stuff. That's why I've been saying, be mindful of what you're consuming, what you're listening to, what you're allowing in your awareness. If it is not in alignment with what you say you want or who you say you want to be, why? Why are you spending your time on that? Just ask yourself. And you need to crowd that stuff out. You need to crowd it out and like set a new foundation for your castle to stand on. If your foundation is all messed up with a bunch of other stuff in there, like, okay, it's going to be a little bit of a messed up house that you're building with like yucky rooms that you don't want to go into. You don't want that. So just clean it out, like crowd out the stuff, fill yourself with the truth. Choose good things to listen to, choose good things to watch, choose good conversations to have. The music, choose good music to listen to, choose to go into nature, like, and do it with conscious awareness. I am crowding out anything that is not harmony, anything that is not aligned with who I say I am, with what I want, with the state that I'm embodying, with the feeling that it feels like when I experience that thing that I want, or the person that I want, or whatever it is in my imagination. Anything that is not in alignment with that, I'm done with it. You have to decide. It is not a like, oh wow, like it's not that big of a deal. It was just like, it was just one day. It was just 1 hour. It was just half an hour. It was just a binge watch of that. No, I mean, do it, but I'm saying you're just like messing up your own self. You're just messing up your own self. And sometimes it is some kind of weird, that same sneaky guy of trying to keep you safe. Sometimes it is like some self-protection mechanism, if you will, of trying to not go for it, like not be fully in that just like radiant state. If you have any issues with worthiness or guilt or whatever, not being able to fully be who you are, you may have those kind of like thoughts that say like, oh, I just watched this series, or I heard this was good or whatever. But then I'm saying, when you're consuming the thing, check in, like, how does this feel? If you're really enjoying yourself and it's entertaining, you feel really, really good, then fine. But most of that stuff is just programming of old states of being, of old paradigms that are not necessarily supportive of our infinite self, of who we truly are. They are more part of the limited self paradigms of the old ways of being, the old ways of relating, the old ways of thinking of ourselves. And because we have these mirror neurons, when we're watching something, we're empathizing, we're putting ourselves in the shoes of the person. Even if you think it's just a movie, it's just a character, it's just a series, you're experiencing that. And you got to ask yourself, is this entertainment? But like, I'm producing these chemicals in my body. This is a state of being that I'm in, loss or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot. It's a lot to be aware of, but it's not that difficult to clean up, to take a chance on yourself and say, you know what, I could forego that and just invest in myself in a different way, read something or listen to something or or just sit with nothing and just let make my own script in my mind. Let me script out my life. Let me revise some things in my life. That's the last part. That also, if things are coming up, you decide on a state of being and then these things come up and you're doing your best to feel in the state, but then, you're noticing all these other things. Those are the opportunities that I use to revise. If something is coming up and I'm like, oh yeah, because this happened before, or, it always seems like that the person's really good at first, but then this, whatever story you got, whatever story we have, whatever story we all have, different stories, I use that opportunity to revise, which revises, I'm going to practice a different version of whatever happened. I do everything that comes up because I know that it is the same thing. It's my experience and my consciousness. I'm experiencing that right now. So if it's coming up to my awareness and I'm experiencing in a certain way that is like not so great and isn't really in my highest, unlimited self and my state of being that I'm claiming myself to be, I'm going to clean it up. Like I remember when that person betrayed me or whatever it is. No, I'm going to replay the story in a better way. Revising is pruning. The pruning shares a revision. So pruning those old practiced, pathways that we're remembering, our memories, you're pruning them away and replacing it with a new story. It doesn't mean that you necessarily completely forget, but even sometimes though you do, sometimes you actually do, but it means that your nervous system is soothed. You're soothing your nervous system, you're soothing yourself, and you're giving yourself an opportunity for something different to show up by doing that. It is very, very worth it. So what did we talk about? We talked about mostly getting in a state of being, and then what are the things that can get us off the track and how to handle that. What are some practical things that you can do to get yourself into this, keep yourself as much as possible, crowding out all things that are not that into this state of being. And the last part is before you go to bed, please do not waste that opportunity as you're drifting off from awakened state. You're dragging those seeds into subconscious state or wherever we go, wherever we go to, but you're bringing that into, the fertile soil with you. What are you bringing with you as you go to sleep? Don't waste that opportunity and do not use it to think of a bunch of crap, what you got to do tomorrow and what that person said, or let some intrusive thought come in and then spin on it. Really, really decide. I decide that I use these fertile times for my best, for my highest good, to help myself out. So I'm going to practice before I go to sleep, as I'm going to sleep, in that state of being, of the wish fulfilled. How does it feel? How does it feel? And again, if you don't know, which, come on, by now you can practice and know, it's at least everything is working out even better than I thought. Everything is happening for my highest good. You have to practice that. And you have to really know that nothing that is happening here is unchangeable. Everything can be modified and changed. Just again, not being attached to how it has to look, or it has to be the feeling. If you can shift it, because people will say like, well, I wanted this. And look, I'm not saying you can't get exactly what you want. I think that you can. I do think that you can. It's just, I haven't seen too many people that are like super good to be able to do that all the time. So you have to be open to how it's showing up for you to get yourself into that feeling. So it may not look exactly how you're saying, but you still can see that it's different than it was. And I do feel better and I'm going in the right direction. At least that. Okay. I think we're good. We're going to breathe just a little bit. We're going to get ourselves our container, strong container. Remember, don't be in a leaky container. If one thing can get you down, then that means that you've got a little bit of work to do on being the operant power. Let's soothe our nervous system. Just first practicing an open focus. So I'm looking straight ahead, but I am starting to open my awareness and open my focus to try to see as much as I can in my space, above me, below me, beside me, in front of me, behind me. And let's inhale deep into our chest and hold the breath. Inhale now a little more. Keep your shoulders relaxed. Keep inhaling more. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. One more. One more. And hold. Pull root lock, navel diaphragm. Pull it up. Activate yourself like you mean it. See it and feel it up your spine, into your brain, and exhale gracefully. Release, relax. Feel your expansion. Inhale deep into the chest. Hold the breath. Inhale a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. One more. One more. Hold, root lock, navel, diaphragm. Pull it up, straighten your spine, activate yourself like you mean it. And exhale gracefully, release, relax, dissolve. One more time, inhale deep, hold the breath. Inhale some more. Try to find some space in your back more. A little bit more in the back. A little bit more. You can do it. Stretch into your sides, rib cage more. A little bit more. Front, a little more. Up top, one more. Hold. Now lock the shoulders down. Root lock up. Pull it up. Activate yourself. Light up your spine. I have an enlightened mind. And exhale gracefully. Close your eyes. Easy breath. Feel yourself shift, expand in all directions. Good. We're going to take our right index finger, close the right nostril, and just left nostril breathing for a few moments. Just soothing, like the most soothing nectar, the most soothing balm. Inhaling and exhaling through the left side, activating parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, soothing, cooling, calming.
God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is good, good is God, God is health, health is God, God is strength, strength is God, God is life, life is God. RR, infinite substance, is manifesting in me right now. Waheguru. God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is good, good is God, God is health, health is God, God is strength, strength is God, God is life, life is God. RR, infinite substance, is manifesting in me right now. Waheguru. God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is good, good is God, God is health, health is God, God is strength, strength is God, God is life, life is God. RR, infinite substance, is manifesting in me right now. Waheguru. God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is good, good is God, God is health, health is God, God is strength, strength is God, God is life, life is God. RR, infinite substance, is manifesting in me right now. Waheguru. is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is love, God is wise, God is kind, God is good, God is good, good is God, God is health, health is God, God is strength, strength is God, God is life, life is God. RR, infinite substance, is manifesting in me right now. Waheguru.
Move your hand, inhale, hold, and exhale, hold it out. Inhale, reach. Inhale more, hold, shake it, and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Sitting quietly, just do a scan from the top of your head through your whole being. Allow your awareness, your consciousness, just do a light scan through your whole being. Anywhere your awareness wants to go or stay, just take a moment there with some love, with some extra light, just seeing everything in your whole being in perfect order, connecting to the pattern of perfection that is you, the greater you, in perfect order, perfect harmony, perfect love. Bring that awareness, that light through your whole being. Decide. Bring your hands on your heart. It's bringing that love, unconditional love to your whole being. Fill your heart with love and gratitude and appreciation. Everything I need is within me. Who are you being? Who do you say that you are? Tune into your state of being. I am that. Decide. Everything is easy when I'm aligned with the truth. Everything is always working out for me, even better than I imagined. All life everywhere loves and supports me. Bring your hands to prayer. Covering yourself with the blankets of love, peace, and light. Inhale to begin. Love before me, love behind me, love at my left, love at my right, love above me, love below me, love in me, love in my surroundings, love to all, love to the universe. Inhale, peace before me, peace behind me, peace at my left, peace at my right, peace above me, peace below me, peace in me, peace in my surroundings, peace to all, peace to the universe. Inhale, light before me, light behind me, light at my left, light at my right, light above me, light below me, light in me, light in my surroundings, light to all, light to the universe. Inhale. Oh, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.